Welcome back, everybody. We're just talking about how the last few interviews we did were with some very attractive women, and they're obviously great in their fields and everything else. All the things I'm supposed to say to not get in trouble. But it is distracting because then I have to go back and edit, and I'm just like, watch the whole thing. Yeah, just like that, just like
Yeah.
that. So, but it was great.
Yeah.
We had a few series of great guests on, and just had a really good time with them, experts in their own field. So we want everybody to go check those out. But it's been a while. Like I was on a trip for a week in Arkansas. If anybody cares where that is, don't bother looking it up. It's in the middle of the country. It doesn't fucking matter. With a couple of clients of ours, and it's been a while since we've been on, just catching up about normal things. So yeah, what's going on down there in Florida?
Well, I mean, we had a bit of a rainstorm the last couple of days. I thought rainy season was over, so we're just kind of getting used to, closing all the windows, and we can't hang stuff outside. It's been busy here. It's been getting. Another one of the side projects I've been working on is the Conscious Co-working community. So we actually held our first ever, which is a really cool thing. We held our first ever paid event last week. So we did a rooftop barbecue party, which was like 400 pesos for all you can eat meat, which is like $20 US or something like that.
I was going to say, I forgot how much that is. You're going to have to tell everybody.
Yeah, $20 US. It's like 30 Canadian, right? Which is funny money. But it was really cool. Like, we sold out of tickets in like a day and a half because people don't really check the WhatsApp groups. We had to cap it, I think, 28 just for the capacity of the rooftop as well as how much food we had. But it was a really cool test because for the last 8 months of us building up this community and doing these co-working events and stuff like that, it's all been free. We haven't charged $1 for anything. So we wanted to do this test, and obviously they're getting meat out of it, meat and drinks as well, not alcohol, but just pop and water. But it's a really good test for us to see if the community that we've been curating of over 1,200 members over the last 8 months would actually be willing to spend money on something. Because it's hard to go. We thought it would be hard to go from building a community of everything being free to then turning on some sort of monetization system to be able to charge money. So now that we found out that people are willing to pay, they're willing to register, they're willing to commit and come and gather while spending money, was a really huge success for us. So it was really cool to host, and everyone loved it. I spent most of the time, not most, but quite a bit of the time recording a lot of it with my phone. I brought my mics and stuff, and then I actually sent that off to VA to create some Instagram reels and stuff like that for me for, I think he charges like $5 an hour or something like that. It was a really cool event, and we're actually hosting a Christmas party this Friday. It's going to be a free event. We're doing it at the Warehouse PDC, which is a kind of like a
rave venue.
No, the Warehouse PDC is like for lawn house games. So they have bocce, lawn bowling. They have tennis, not tennis, but badminton.
Axe throwing.
I don't think they have axe throwing, but I don't know the name of this game, but I call it Testicle Festival.
That works. The balls that you spin.
Yeah, they're on a string and they dangle. Yeah, they look like testicles. Yeah. I call it Testicle Festival. You try wrapping it around.
I like that. Yeah.
So it's been a lot of big community growth and leading and stepping into a position of being a leader in a community, which is really huge, and just kind of growing my life in that kind of aspect. So that's a short recap of this so far.
No, you said a couple important things there, Dean, from a marketing and business standpoint. Is it is kind of awkward or strange or whatever transition when you go from giving away stuff for free, having a community for free, and then you want to charge people for it, but then looking at it from a consumer standpoint, if there was an event in town and I knew it was just open to anybody, and this could just be me being pretentious, I kind of want to pay to get in because I don't know. I want people who are there, supposed to be there. They paid to be there. I don't know. It's just some weird barrier for me. And I'm assuming I'm not the only one. Yeah. And then you want to contribute. So it does make you feel a little bit more exclusive versus anybody could just wander off the street and come in there. And then look, I'm not saying that, people who are down and out shouldn't be allowed to attend, but you do kind of want a barrier, I guess. And it works across all forms of marketing. And anytime you try to give something away for free, people are like, oh, whatever, what do I need this PDF for? But then you try to charge $5 for it. They're like, oh, yeah, this is great. I'm going to pay for this. So that's number one. And number two, being smart enough to get as much video as possible, even if you have to have somebody else show up and that's all they do is film the whole time. Even if there's like an hour and a half worth of film and then have somebody that can chop it, because that's a big mistake that we fucking make, is we don't have somebody following us around. I actually just did that when I was with Brittany and Ori in Arkansas, we totally forgot. We were there for the entire week. We got good video, but we should have been just filming us talking in the kitchen and doing other things, because that would have been very useful. So I made the mistake of not doing that, but it sounds like you got it under control.
Yeah, well, I think like, especially when you're starting something or building something, people love to see the story, not just the finished result in the product, but like the story of how you started and what it's like and how the growth is and what's kind of transpiring. So it kind of makes them feel like they're a part of the journey with you. And so that's why I thought it was very important. Like I was like, you know what, we for our next events, if we be able to grow and run ads and whatever we want to start doing it to start monetizing, having these videos to be able to post, and spending $20 or $30 on a VA to professionally edit these and do the subtitles and the transitions and the music. I mean, I know how to do that. It would take me 3 hours, maybe 4, because I'm not the greatest at it, but like to make it internet worthy, I would spend a lot of time. And my time, I have way too much going on to be diddle daddling and video editing and stuff like that. I'm like, you know what, for $20, $30, outsource. And that's actually probably another little segue we can talk about too, is outsourcing. Is I've been getting really good at letting go of control and outsourcing. And I'd say I have like a 95% success rate. I've maybe had, 2 or 3 occasions where I've outsourced a project. It comes back. I'm like, oh, this is fucking terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah,
it's tough. Tough to give up that. And there is always some quality control you got to do at the end. The way I had to force myself to look at it as, if we can give somebody something and they get it 80% of the way there, I mean, hopefully they get 100% of the way there and we don't have to do shit. But if they can get at least 80% of the way there, I mean, that's a lot of time I would have spent just tinkering with things that we don't need to do. So it's nice to be able to do that. And it's tough. I mean, you're going to go through, and let's be honest, when you're paying people a smallish amount, relatively speaking, to the rest of the world, you're probably going to go through a few people before you find somebody that's a right fit, that's actually going to be able to do whatever. And we actually had talked about this in a previous show. You got to take care of people too. If you find somebody who's good at what they do and they get you most of the way there, so you don't have to deal with it, don't be afraid to like, hey, I know I'm only paying you $5 an hour. Here's an extra $20. Something. And that way they'll be like, next time you have something, they'll be like, oh shit, I'm going to go work for Sean right now. And they're going to do a really good job.
There's actually one project that I'm working on right now. And so I got like the client's requests and desires of what they want for the edits. I literally copied and pasted what they wanted with their screenshots, sent it to the developer. And it's been 3 days of, well, no, I want this there and I want that there. It's like, I did exactly what you said.
Yeah.
And so initially when I outsourced it to one of my developers, I said, what was your cost to get these edits done? He said, $100, right? I'm like, perfect, sounds good. Well, now it's been like 3 days of more revisions, and it's a a contract-based approach on Upwork. So he's still getting $100. So I told him, I was like, hey, look, once this is all done, I'll send him do another contract. I'll send you a couple extra bucks, or another $50 for the edits you're doing, because this is outside the scope. And I apologize for this client being a bit more difficult. This is what she asked for. Now it's changing to this, to this, to this, to this, without a price increase. And like, it's not like the job the scope has changed. It's just like she's nitpicking little things, even though she sent me screenshots of what she wants. So it's like, customer's always right. So if it was like, I want you to add on a whole new feature, a whole new section, well, that's gonna be more money. But it's literally, it's this weird little paradox where she's still in like the confines of like the initial terms and agreements, but like little outside the box where you can't really charge more money because it's still in like the scope of what she asked.
Yeah. And people need to learn to be flexible too. There's a lot of hard asses out there that'll say like, no, this is the scope. This is what is agreed to. Yeah. Everybody understands that. If you want to maintain client relationships, then you have to be a little flexible and bend a little bit. I'm not saying get taken advantage of, but there's the gray area there where people are like, no, I'm not doing this anymore. Well, guess what? As soon as this little thing you're doing is over, you're not going to hear from that client again. And then there's also people that get run all over and just end up working for a bunch, which we've all done that before too. But another important thing I was thinking about with outsourcing is there are times I catch myself doing this. There are times that I end up tasking somebody with something, and I'm like, fuck, I just spent 5 minutes tasking somebody for something that'll take, if I just did it myself, it'd take 3 minutes. So you can get like a little out of control with that. And like, what am I doing? I'm spending more time making this loom. I could have just gone in and changed the color myself.
Yeah.
But
one thing I actually had a fun little thing about outsourcing today too is another one of my developers sent back, the original, hey, this is done. Please verify. I was like, awesome. Yeah, I verified. It looks good. I'm like, I like had a moment, so I registered. I'm like, what else do I have you working on? Because I just forgot. There's so much that I have going. I was like,
right.
What else are you doing for me? He's like, this, you need this, this, and this. I'm like, That's right. Thank you. Yeah. I'm glad you're on point because I have everything written down, but like, fuck, like what else am I waiting? Is he doing right now? I had this moment of just, which is a good problem when you have so much work and going on and outsourcing that you forget what tasks are there. Even though like it's not like a permanent forget. Like I'd be scrambling to find out what's going on. I have it all written down, my workflows and my notes, and I have every contract in my notes of organized into their names and what they are. So I have all the things that I've outsourced. So it's organized, but at a moment of just like, shit, what are you supposed to do for me?
If I'm not thinking about it, that means it's getting done, and then I don't have to stress myself out about it. But I suppose one more thing. This will be a short episode. In case anybody can't tell, I don't have high blood pressure right now, but I'm pink because I was I was at the gym this morning
With a
working out
fresh
harder.
haircut. With a fresh haircut.
Yeah, somewhat fresh, somewhat fresh. If anybody's watched anything that I've recorded over the last couple of years, I had that long, scraggly douche hair, and finally went back. This is how I normally look. I mean, I don't look this old normally, but anyway, I left the gym to rush here to record this, and I'm pink from that. But where was I going with this? So another thing I was thinking, I've forgotten the value of in-person things because we literally got an Airbnb, just the three of us in a small town called Bentonville, Arkansas. It's where the Walmart started. It's where the fucking Sam Walton's from. Fun fact, nice little town though. Bill Clinton's from that area too, I think. But anyway, we had a really good time there, and I was like, okay, we'll probably go. Obviously, and we're also kind of like a quasi trip, so we're going downtown and drinking and having fun and all that stuff too. And I was like, okay, we'll probably get some stuff done. But I was really amazed if you can do it, because I know now everybody wants to do this remote stuff, virtual stuff. We can get as much done online, like kind of like we're recording now. There's some truth to that, but I'm telling you, being locked in a house for 4 days. And still taking breaks, going to going out, going for walks, going to the cafes, going to the bars at night, all that other shit. We're working on landing pages and things like that. And then one person would be like, well, I don't like this here. The amount of shit, like that would have taken 6 weeks back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And just thinking about it and thinking things out loud and everything else. So, and I know that's not in the cards for everybody because not depending upon where you are in your business, you don't necessarily have the budget to just like, let's all fly somewhere and rent a house. I know that's not whatever, but if you have the opportunity to do it, I think it was awesome. And, you solidify relationships too. So you can have real in-person conversations, and it doesn't hurt to get a little drunk either because just think people loosen up a little bit. So I was anticipating a very good trip and getting a lot done, but it far exceeded my expectations because we probably got not quite literally 90 days worth of shit done in 3 days.
Yeah.
And we're much further ahead than we would have been. So I recommend anybody who has a chance to, if you have a team and you need to fucking get, light a fire under people, is try to get together somewhere if possible.
Yeah, and the same thing with us, with not with our business, but the Conscious Co-working community. Me, Matt, and Andy, like the co-founders of the community, we do weekly Zoom for an hour. It's what we were doing, a weekly team Zoom to kind of go through stuff. And we transitioned that from a weekly hour Zoom meeting to a 2-hour in-person meeting. Because we're all in the same area, right? And the amount of stuff that we get done in 2 hours would have taken like 3 months of Zoom meetings. We're there all together. We have our, board. We have sticky notes. We're writing down things. We're able to I can show my computer of what the community is looking like. They can give me their input. They say this. It's just there's so much more of a flowy dynamic to in person because when you're on a Zoom meeting, first of all, most people get distracted because even I have like a second screen up right now, but I turn it off, right? But sometimes I'll have it on or your phone vibrates or there's a dog or you're not really into the meeting. But like when you're in person, you can like feed off the energy of other people and you can really start digging into and if they don't like something, they can be like, and you can read their faces and their body language more. Yeah. You can understand where they're coming from. So, yeah, I 100% agree that the in-person aspect brings a whole new realm. And that's how business was done back in the day. It was all in person.
That's true. Yeah,
right?
And last 10 years, this is recent stuff.
Yeah, we're not coming out with new strategies that are going to change the world. This is how it used to be.
Yeah, the funny part of it is I remember we were all sitting in the same cafe together in Mexico. Even if we weren't all working on the same thing at one time, and you're on the other side, and Corey's over here, and whoever else is with us on that particular. But you could be like, "Hey, man, come take a look at this." I was right there. It was super easy to do. But another thing with work trips or just getting people together is you can have fun too if you like the people you work with, and hopefully everybody gets to that point. You can make a day of it. Like get up in the morning, go all have breakfast together, think a little bit, take a walk. So, it doesn't have to be, okay, we're checking into our fucking cubicles and it has to be some strict thing. You don't really even need to have an agenda. But anyway, I can't say enough about it. I really think it's a great thing to do. And the world kind of got away from that, obviously, during COVID and then the whole virtual digital bullshit, which we're thankful for because it's how we live now. But yeah, I would highly recommend putting on some type of
Summit
in-person
or
thing.
something. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Even Matt, he's one of his other companies he's working on is called Guru, and it's lead generating AI. He flew in, all 7 team members to Playa for like a week and a half long work session. Like they're getting more done in this week and a half than in the last 3 months because they're spread out in Europe, in Canada, different parts of America, Mexico. So like trying to line up everyone's time zones to have a meeting to like discuss things. And if it's early in the fucking morning in Vancouver and it's late in the evening in Germany, it's like people's brain are, it's tough. So we just flew them all in and just, it's so much more flowy and connective, and it's great.
Yeah,
It's a great,
yeah, for sure.
if you can do it, right?
Yeah,
You can get so much more done in that amount of time, which is very
yeah.
beneficial.
But if anybody has any questions on that, just go ahead and leave them in comments in the video, and we'll tell you what worked and what didn't work. You can't expect some people to fly for 14 hours. Like it has to be within
Yeah.
fucking reason, of course. But you can take your family, go to Playa del Carmen, and go take your husband, wife, whatever, kids, and then set some time aside to work.
Yeah, come visit me down here, guys. Paddle Carmen's the way to go.
Yeah.
I'll host your retreat at my house. I got a pool in the backyard here, a lot of open space, good Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Come on down. We'll host.
Yeah. There we go.
Yeah.
Nice. Just open another business, retreat, summit hosting.
We're going to be having a guest, Isaac McMahon, coming on. He's a podcast host. He is a author. He does strategy, businesses. He's kind of in the same realm what we do. And he wanted to come and join on our podcast. We'll be having him on in the next upcoming episodes. I want to give a shout out to our listeners, all 40 something of you that are on so far. And it's a slow growth. And
they can't be wrong. They
can't
be wrong.
Can't be wrong.
Yeah.
We can't be wrong. We got 45 something people on here. But yeah, we're really appreciating for all the people that are joining. If you're new and you're just listening for your first time, please like, subscribe, share the podcast. And if there's anything you want to hear, if you want us to talk about a certain subject or a strategy or a certain aspect of business and you have questions on this, send them to us. I think our email is in the YouTube channel, right? We have our email somewhere linked in there.
I hope so.
Remember.
Yeah.
If
yeah,
not,
it's all in there.
We'll check. It's all in there. But yeah, send us an email. We'd be more than happy to come up with some different ideas and some solutions and give some ideas of what your podcast desires are for what you want to hear about. And I guess we'll leave it at that. And I appreciate all of you for watching and listening.
Yeah, well said, everybody. To be continued, and we'll see you next week.